Testing. Okay. All right. Parts 1123 through 1129 reserved. Parts 1130 through 1149 rate procedures. Part 1130 informal complaints. 1131 no damage is sought. 1132 when damage is sought. 1131 when no damage is sought with the formal content copies of the informal complaint may be made by letter or other writing and will be serially numbered and filed. The complaint must be contained with the essential elements of the formal complaint as specified in Title 49 Standard 11.11.2 and may embrace the supporting papers of the original. One copy must be filed with the board corresponding handling. When an informal complaint appears a suspectably informal adjustment, the board will send a copy of the statement of the complaint with each of the subject of the complaint in an attempt to have it satisfied with the corresponding, thereby avoiding the filing of formal complaint. Discontinuance of informal proceeding. The filing of the informal complaint does not preclude the complaint with the filing of the formal complaint. If the formal complaint is filed with the informal proceeding, will be discontinued. 1132. No damages sought. The actual filing required notification of the board with the informal for the complaint will be filed later with a seeking the damage if it is not filing within the meaning of the statute. Content of the informal complaint seeking the damages must be filed with a statutory period should identify with a reasonable defiantness. The definitions involve shipment of the transportation service of the complaint should include the statement of the complaint with the seeking of the recovered damages of the name of each of the individuals seeking damages, name and address of the defendants against the claim is met, with the commodity of the rate with the applied with the day of the which the charges were repaid, names of the party with the paying with the charge of the if and different names of the party bearing the charges for the period of time which of the specific day of the upon which the shipments were made with the dates when they were delivered and intended for the delivery. The specific origin and destination of the 4 points where they are numbered in the territorial rate of the group of the origin and destination points, and if known with the routes of movement and with the nature amount of the injury sustained with each of the claimants, name of the prior claim of the complement filed under paragraph B of this section containing the claim that has been subject to the previously informal of the formal complaint must be specifically referred to for the previous complaint with a copy of the original informal complaint with the seeking of the damages must be accompanied with a sufficient number of the copy to enable the board to send one to each defendant. Name. Reserve. The notification of the parties for the 6 months rule. Informal complaint seeking the damages of the contest with the tariff the reconciliation petition cannot be disposed with the informal as in denied withdrawal of the complaint with the parties affected with the notified with the writing of the board contested with the tariff with the reconciliation petitions either will be granted or denied by the entry of the decision unless for the 6 months after the date when the notice is mailed with the decision serve the party with either file the formal complaint or resubmit the informal complaint on an additional fact basis for the matter of the complaint or the petition will not be reconsidered. The complaint will be considered abandoned with no complaint. Seeking for the damage for the same cause of the action will be accepted unless the file within the statutory period. Any filing with a resubmission satisfying within the 6 months requirement will be considered the file with this day of the original filing must specifically refer to the day of the board with the file with the number and with the original 10 copies of the petition for reconsideration shall be filed. Tariff reconciliation procedure for the motor carrier common service period petition with a waive of the collection of the permit or payment or permit payment. Subject of the board review with approval of the most common carriers other than household good carriers and shippers of the may resolve with the mutual consent with the overcharge for the undercharge claims under the provision Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 14709. The position with the property of the authority may be filed with either the carrier or shipper with the consigner over the board tariff of the reconciliation docket by submitting the letter of the intent with the department with the file with the rate with the positions deemed for the equivalent with the informal complaint with the answering and admitting with the matters for the state and the petition shall be sent to the office of the complaint with the enforcement service transportation board Washington D.C. 2442-3 with the petition shall contain with the minimum of the following information the name and the address of the payer freight charge with the name of the carriers involved with the traffic the estimate of the amounts of it involved with the time of the period with the shipment involved with the delivered with the tendered for delivery. I got something coming up. Let me close this. I'm sorry about that. Time delivery for the shipment involved with the delivery of the tender for the delivery, general description of the point of the origin, destination of the shipment, the general description of the commodity with the transport of the state, with the certifying with the carrier and the shipper participating with the shipment of the pairs of the freight charge with the concurs with the intent of the department of the file rate with a brief explanation of the incorrect tariff provisions or billing area for the cause of the request of the department with the file rate, public notice and protest of the tariff of the reconciliation petitions, letters intent with the shall be served with all parties, name of the petition by the party with the file of the petition will be made with available the board board of the public of the inspection of the office of compliance with the enforcement public file with the Surface of Transportation, Washington, D.C. 2042-3. Any interested person may prepare for the granting of the position of the filing letter of objection with the office of the compliance with enforcement within 30 days of the board receive the position of the letter's objection shall identify with the tariff reconciliation procedure, so clearly state of the reason of the objection with the shall certify with a copy of the letter of the objection has been certified on all parties the name within the position. Petition may initiate the investigation of the petition on its own motion. Uncontested petition if the petition non-contested with the board does not initiate the investigation if the petition with its own motion approval if the deemed granted without further action with the board effective 45 days after the board received the petition. 4. Contested petition. The petition is contested with the board initiate the investigation with the petition on its own motion. 15 days will be allowed with a reply with a 15-day period commencing from the day of the service of objection with the board initiated the investigation on its own with the day of the service of the decision initiating the investigation after the period of the reply has expired. The board will issue the decision approving or disapproving the petition, requesting further submission with the parties, then will issue the decision based on the further submission. Alright, that was part 131. 130, informal complaints.